Okay, turn it up, swashbucklers. You are listening to the Being Blackbeard podcast. This is episode number 8, and I'm your host, Phil Johnson. And with me tonight is my co-host, Tony Diamco.
Hello, friends.
And we did discover where Richard Dreiling was last week. He actually is he's moving to North Carolina for 4 months because he's got to do some job training. And so he's also not with us tonight, but he will be back next week. He's in the midst of traveling to North Carolina and getting settled. So that's good stuff for him. So here we are. And this we're talking about Crossbones episode number 7, which was called Beggarman this week. And a good episode, and we're also going to have to discuss the scoop on next week, which is let's do that first because I'm sure that's what everybody's going to be wondering about. So next week they're going to blow out. They're doing the 2-hour season finale, which means we've given up and we're blowing it all out.
Yeah, in case there was any doubt about that, they're putting it on Saturday night just to let everyone. Might as well just put it on Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning, really, which is NBC's way of saying, hey, we didn't make an effort, so now we're no longer going to try.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was really surprised to see that. So it's also going to make it a whole lot harder for me because I have 2 shows to do on Saturday, and I'm flying back on Sunday, so I will be watching it right before we record on Sunday. And so I was dismayed to see that because I know they're trying to play it up as the special 2-hour finale. Nobody is buying it. Every comment online is like, "Oh well, I guess they've given up," and that appears to be the case.
You know what? In case you couldn't hate NBC anymore, about a week and a half ago, they did renew American Ninja Warrior for next summer. So thank God NBC's got its priorities. This is just, I'm going to add this show to the list of TV series, and there's a lot of networks to blame, that they didn't give a shot to, they did not publicize, they gave very little time for it to succeed, and then they pulled out as quick as a guy who's been drinking whiskey till 3 o'clock in the morning. Add this to the list of a bunch of great shows, which to me is just so frustrating because they clearly put so much money into the cast, into the setting of it. It's a brilliantly written show, but they didn't push it as much as they could have. And then they're surprised when it didn't succeed. And it's just for shame on NBC's part, and it's such a waste. And I wish everybody who's a part of the show, both in front of and behind the camera, the best of luck because they clearly deserve it, and they need a better network to support them.
Yeah, definitely. It was, they just seemed like we're gonna screw it. We'll just throw it all out. Now, here's the confusing part: is there were 10 episodes filmed. Tonight we're talking about episode 7. They're gonna blow out episodes 8 and 9 on Saturday. And even on the IMDb page, it says episode number 10 doesn't even have like a title or anything. They have titles for the next 2. I guess they're called the next Crossbones and Blackbeard, and they're kind of mushing those together. But there's no episode 10, which makes me think not only are they blowing out 2 episodes at once on Saturday, they've actually edited the last 3 episodes together. We're actually getting 3 episodes next Saturday.
I cannot emphasize my disappointment. Again, not only because I've fallen in love with the show and its writing, but it's just frustrating as an actor and as a writer that a network doesn't have your back. Something I'd like to emphasize, when Cheers debuted, it was the lowest rated show of the entire week. Not of the network. It was out of 82 shows, Cheers was 82. And it would have gotten lost in the shuffle and never picked up after that. And these networks need to realize that it is not 1987 anymore. They are competing with Netflix. They are competing with Amazon. They are competing with cable networks. And you've got to have a little trust, and you've got to have a little belief in a series. And NBC panicked and left the show just flailing in the wind. This is what they deserve, and it's a shame because it's a fabulous series, and NBC deserves everything they get. Get 24 hours of American Ninja Warrior. If that's what you want, NBC. Let's have guys trying to climb rope swings for 9 hours on a Sunday night. You get what you deserve, NBC.
It's gym class. I have to say this, though. I saw a video yesterday of a streaker at the American Ninja Warrior trials in Las Vegas. It was hilarious. There was a guy we're totally off topic. There was a guy getting ready to go, like a regular guy. Streaker dude comes through and destroys the entire course. Like, goes through the whole thing without even breathing hard. It's amazing. And just before he finished, the security tackled him and took him off. It was really irritating. But I was like, yeah, that's what I want to see on that show.
So fans, tune in next week when we start our American Ninja podcast.
All right. Well, let's get into the episode here a little bit and talk about what happened in this one, because we still get to geek out for 2 more episodes. And I thought this one was good. I mean, it's obviously leading into things. We got Nenna pulls some major stuff in this one to escape town. I guess. I mean, I thought maybe she could just leave. But I guess Blackbeard maybe is the type of captain who would not just let a crew member leave and go, oh, okay, I guess she didn't want to do this anymore. He would probably hunt her down and kill her or something to that extent. So she has to devise this faking her own death. She went out Elvis style to get off the island, you know. And it was kind of interesting. I don't think she needed to. I guess, yeah. I mean, we had to get Lowe in trouble to carry the basic plot of the show. She could have blamed it on anybody, but I suppose that was the obvious place to go with that. But the whole cutting off her finger thing was very uncomfortable.
What I loved about that scene was that it just emphasized just what a badass this chick is. Forget about the fact that you're a black female lesbian pirate in this era, which is tough in 2014, which had to be impossible back then.
It is so hard to be a pirate now. It really is.
Especially in the African American community. But go Raiders. My point is it just is. It's been such a slow build, but a worthwhile build to how incredibly badass her character is. And every episode when you think, well, she can't get any tougher, she just proves how tough she is and smart and calculating. And I also got to say, the exchange between her and Lowe early in this episode was one of my favorite scenes in this entire series. When they're talking about the back and forth and the thing about chess, I just thought that was so fantastic and said so much about both those characters, and it just makes me all the more frustrating that this is the last we're probably going to be seeing of them.
Yeah, I thought that scene was really great too. I mean, where they finally just came down to, he was going like, yeah, all right, try it. I was like,
we're
wow.
in check.
Yeah. And
I didn't say I didn't know chess, you know. It was just this beautiful back and forth and very clever and very witty, and I already knew about what was going to happen next week when I saw that scene, and it just made me all the more angrier.
I liked the part, and it was maybe a little bit hokey, but I liked the part where he buries the box, and then because he knows she's right behind him, and she's going to come in and dig up the box, and he puts the note in there that was like, getting colder, and then swings back around after she unburies it and digs it up, and then puts the note in there. I was like, oh, that's pretty slick.
Yeah, I totally like once you know he was burying the note the first time, you kind of knew he was gonna just, if he could have had the time, he would have just drawn a picture of himself flipping her off, but which would have been fantastic. And I think if they knew the show was getting canceled, they probably would have done that. But I did love the background when he does go back and puts the actual letter in there. I just thought that was so fantastic and clever, and the way the whole letter plays out throughout the rest of the episode too, I thought was really cool with Kate's lover.
Yeah. And it really was almost giving her the finger, because he didn't even move the box. He put it exactly where it was. No, I'm just going to leave it here and just jam the note in there, sucker. And now, you know what I was confused about was, how did Fletch know where to go dig up the letter? because he brings it in to James and he's like, look, I've got it. And I was like, well, how did he know where it was? Because he wasn't there when it was buried.
Yeah, he probably tipped him off. You know what's funny about that? And I was thinking kind of the same thing, but also when you see in past episodes where Nenna is burying things, and then there's got to be stuff buried every 5 feet. It's like letters, gold, pearl necklace. Every like 5 feet, there's a ditch filled with awesomeness.
Maybe they just have like an area where they bury stuff. They're like, this is the bury place over here. And just anything you're burying, just put it over there.
Yeah. It's like a lockbox in a bank, like everywhere. I didn't like the back and forth at the end when James kind of does say that you're killing the wrong guy, and then Tom steps up to take the lashes for him, and then especially at the very end when he says a thing to Blackbeard about, well, why didn't you tell them to stop? And I just love the episode was great on a whole, but especially the last 10 to 15 minutes I thought was just very well written and very well done. And again, just made me all the more frustrated that the series is probably ending.
Yeah, no, I like that too. You know what I was curious about? When James is reeling off the story of how Lowe was the one that had him captured and tortured back in the war when he was a Jacobite. I don't know if that was fiction or if he was telling the truth. You know, I don't know if that was the truth or not, because it could have been part of the story that he made up with Nenna, that he was going to just make up that story that he was the guy.
When I watched that scene tonight, I honestly thought that if the show was to continue, I think James really does believe that Lowell is that guy. But I think if they had a chance to expand on the series, that it would actually be revealed that it was somebody else. But since they're probably not going to get a second season, we'll probably never know.
Yeah. I thought that was left a little bit vague there, but it was interesting to see him. And what made me think maybe it was the truth was that maybe because he takes the lashes for him at the end. I didn't count. I don't know if it was 40. I was like, I don't know. He's whipping on him pretty hard there. Might be 40, but I lost count. But it didn't look comfortable, that's for sure. And it was another one of those really uncomfortable moments. It was the drill to the head, it was the cutting off the finger, and it was you really saw the vulnerabilities in the characters at those points.
Yeah, and absolutely, and not to slap our friend Ezra, who was kind enough to do an interview with us last week. But I thought it was really cool of his character to kind of step in and like realize that, look, this guy is, whenever I think of him, he's stepping in for James, and this is enough. Like, let's just be. It was great to see Ezra in that moment, and not just getting more screen time, but like his character really building up Lowe at this point, which I think the show, if given more seasons, would have tried to do. But it was just very cool in that moment to say, like, look, he's done enough. Let's get him some stitches and grab some rum.
Right. Yes. Apparently. Yeah. Because apparently rum is what they soak everything in there, according to what he was saying to Fletch.
Needles, thread, pirates, everything soaked in rum.
Everything soaked in rum. Here's something dumb. I was looking at Charlie's chest tattoo, Charlie Ryder's chest tattoo, and I can't decide whether it's a flag of some sort or if he's a Wolverine fan.
You know, that's so funny. When I saw his tattoo, it totally looks like an American flag in waving in the wind. But did you also, not to take away from your point, but did you also notice the fact when Charlie takes off his shirt, he's got 40 lashes in his back too, which I thought was very interesting and kind of cool as far as this episode.
Yeah, I did notice that, which may play into the line when it was supposed to be James getting the 40 lashes, and he tells Kate, he's like, I don't want to do this either, you know, because and then he turns around and you're like, oh, well, that's why he doesn't want to do it. He's been there.
I don't know if you caught this too, because it was a very quick clip in the last few minutes prior to the whipping scene, but actually Charlie Ryder actually had a YOLO tattoo, which I thought was totally inappropriate. Hashtag you only live once. I mean, it was.
I saw him in an Ed Hardy t-shirt, man.
What would be awesome is if that they knew, like the last two episodes, hey, look, we're not getting picked up, and they just put all that stuff into the episode, just went all balls out, and Ed Hardy t-shirts, guy in the background with a cell phone, just like, screw it. If NBC doesn't believe in this, we're going all in.
There's a grip texting in the house. Yeah.
Yeah. Blackbeard mentions Twitter.
Right. Is Blackbeard. I love seeing the old Blackbeard. I think a lot of people have been kind of waiting for that with the braided beard and the shaggy hair. And I hope there's a part where we get to see that version of Blackbeard kind of kick some ass, kind of do some stuff, right? Because, I mean, in this episode, it was just him sitting there not doing anything until he freaks out at Antoinette.
Yeah, I'm really hoping with this, with the last few episodes they have left, or that they're combining into the finale, that we just see Blackbeard being Blackbeard,
Right.
for lack of a better term, just going balls out piratey, just being as sinister as you could possibly imagine, and also just letting John Malkovich just go crazy with this character and take it to the umpteenth level. And I think for those of us who have followed the series and have been loyal despite the bad ratings, I really feel like NBC owes us. Like, give us batshit crazy pirate Blackbeard for 2 hours, and then we may consider doing a podcast about American Ninja Warrior, but probably not. Just seriously, I hate. I'm part being facetious, but on some levels, I am really just frustrated as a fan and as somebody who is a writer and actor. I'm just frustrated with network television. Aren't you? On some level, they fail to evolve. I look at network television like Tower Records. Like, you knew music was going to start being digital. Why didn't you adjust or advance? You're a dinosaur and you deserve to die. And to let a great show like this get passed away, and then, oh, we got to renew American Ninja Warrior because it's American Ninja Warrior. America deserves what it gets.
Network TV has become the Black Eyed Peas of visual media. It's one word and a beat, and we can dance to it. I saw yet another singing show on TV tonight that was being judged by Kesha and Ludacris, and I was like, neither of them have anything to say to me about singing. I'm sorry. I was like, I mean, that's the level we're at. We're letting Kesha judge singers on TV. And what is she going to say? You need more auto-tune? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm not the least bit surprised that this show hasn't been more successful, because the people that are watching NBC on a regular basis are not watching stuff of this caliber. They're watching America Ninja, whatever it is.
No, I think I hear what you're saying. You want American Ninja Warrior to be judged by actual ninjas, which makes total sense. I mean, which would actually make me tune into that show. But there is a frustration about it, and we can parlay this into. That's right, I said parlay because we're talking about a pirate show.
Yeah.
But we can parlay this into. At least with something like this season of Last Comic Standing, Roseanne Barr has comedy status.
Right.
You may like her, you may not like her, but she's put decades into this business, so you can kind of respect her opinion into comedy. With reality television, it's like, at least give me something. Like, give me somebody who knows what they're talking about. With a show like Crossbones, I think you and I and the people who are fans of it are just frustrated because the network didn't really buy into it, and we're letting middle America that is tuning into American Ninja Warriors decide that this really well written and very well acted show is getting left on the wayside, and it's just frustrating. Forget me being a fan of the show; it's just frustrating as a television viewer.
Right. It's a show that really needed to be on a cable network of some sort. I don't know what I still haven't had a chance to watch Black Sails, but Black Sails is on TBS or something like that.
Black Sails is on Stars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so I don't know. Stars is a little more cabley. I don't know how much more big budgety they go, or how much leeway they give their writers and things like that. But I think it's a show that really needs to be on an HBO or a Showtime or something like that. That's got a little more free reign and has maybe a little more sophisticated viewing audience. We're starting to sound like artsy comedians now, but but I just
honestly,
I just don't think it's the right place for it. Plus, it's in the middle of summer, and it's a show that probably, if they'd put it on in the fall season and had it been on a different network, probably would have been a completely different result.
no, absolutely, and I may have mentioned this on the on previous episodes, but I think as a viewer, an American viewer, there's a little bit hesitancy to get behind a network television series because they never know when it's going to be pulled or if they're going to get a whole season. Whereas whether it's Netflix, HBO, Stars, USA, you know you're going to at least get 10, 12, 22 episodes. NBC, CBS, ABC, they can go, well, we're halfway through this episode and ratings went down, so here's according to Jim. They're gonna pull it. They're gonna pull it because they panic and they're scared of their jobs and they don't know what they're bloody doing.
Yeah.
And you would think with a series like this that has John Malkovich, that has this incredible budget to put this show together, you would think that they would go all in. But they clearly didn't, and they're paying the price, and it's a shame on every front.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I saw that they're, I think what they're running on Friday instead is that, who's that Bear Grylls guy? Do you know who I'm talking about? I think,
the guy from my.
I think that's what they're running. I think I saw a thing that's what they're running instead on Friday night, which proves our point exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's like they might as well just be running American Ninja Warrior with George Takei. Like just that's what they're going for. They're selling themselves out.
Well, I imagine after the big wrap up next week, we'll have more to talk about on this idea. And I've got some other ideas about it as well. But we're coming up on our time here, so why don't we let's do some plugs and we'll close this up, and then we will have a big hurrah next weekend after the final episode. So where are you going to be performing this week, Tony?
This Tuesday I will be at the San Francisco Punchline, July 29th, and as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tony Diamco, TonyDijamco. How about yourself, friend?
Every time you spell your last name, I want to go meep meep. MCO. It sounds like the Amco commercials. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. This Thursday, July 31st through Saturday, August 2nd, I'm going to be headlining at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, Michigan, which will be a whole bunch of fun. And then next week on Friday, the 8th, I will be at the Empress Theater in Vallejo, California, featuring for Dennis Regan, who is Brian Regan's brother. And the 9th, I will be at the California Theater in Petaluma, California, also featuring for Dennis Regan, which should be whole bunches of fun. Okay, so we're gonna shut this down for tonight, and we're all gonna watch the big 2-hour quote unquote finale next Saturday, and reconvene on Sunday and do some more bitching and moaning about network TV. So my name is Phil Johnson. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you listening to us as we learn this podcasting process and how to do whatever it is we're doing here. And we appreciate your reviews, and we appreciate you listening and telling your friends. A lot of people have been telling their friends. And people have told me they've started watching the show because of our podcast. So NBC should be super happy and give us some development money.
Fantastic.
for whatever we would like to do with it. So you can, by the way, you can find me at philjcomedy.com or follow me at Roadside Phil on Twitter. And you can come to beingblackbeard.com and leave us a comment and let us know what you think of network TV, and we'll all bitch and moan together. And you can also find the character reference there and all that kind of stuff. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And it's been a blast, my friends. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.